Insights, streaming now.
Hello and welcome. You're watching News 9 Live with me, Neha Khanna. Let's get you all the big top national and international stories that we're tracking at this hour. In an exclusive interview to the Financial Times, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has for the first time responded to allegations of an Indian plot to assassinate Khalistani terrorist Gurpatwant Singh Pannun in the United States. The Prime Minister has suggested that he will look into any evidence connected with the alleged assassination plot, but also stated that a few incidents cannot derail US-India ties. He sought to play down the diplomatic impact of the US indictment last month, linking an Indian official to the alleged plot. The Prime Minister said, and I quote, "If someone gives us any information, we would definitely look into it. If a citizen of ours has done anything good or bad, we are ready to look into it. Our commitment is to the rule of law." Pannun, an American and Canadian citizen, has been advocating violence against India for years now, including recently issuing threats to Air India and the Indian Parliament. Prime Minister Modi said India was deeply concerned about the activities of certain extremist groups based overseas. He added these elements, under the guise of freedom of expression, have engaged in intimidation and incited violence. The Prime Minister noted that there is strong bipartisan support in the US for the strengthening of the India-US bilateral relationship, which is a clear indicator of a mature and stable partnership. Security and counterterrorism cooperation has been a key component of our partnership, he said. I don't think it's appropriate to link a few incidents with diplomatic ties between the two countries. In other news, in response to a surge in COVID-19 cases and the detection of the new JN1 variant in different parts of India, Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia held a high-level review meeting today with the health ministers of the states. This comes amid the World Health Organization's statement late Tuesday classifying the JN1 coronavirus strain as a variant of interest, although it said that current evidence shows that the risk to public health is low. At this meeting, Health Minister Mandavia told state health ministers that it is time to work together in a whole-of-government approach, expressing that while India needs to stay alert, there is no need for panic, he said. He also spoke about the importance of being prepared by conducting drills, increasing surveillance and maintaining effective communication. Mandavia also assured the centre's support to all the states. Now, India's health ministry has issued an advisory to all the states and union territories, emphasizing the need for heightened vigilance. As the festive season is upon us, states have been urged to implement public health measures, emphasizing respiratory hygiene. The advisory also stresses effective compliance with the union health ministry, operational guidelines for the revised COVID-19 surveillance strategy that's been provided to all the states. On Wednesday, India had over 2,300 cases. Kerala reported a little over 2,000 cases in total. Tamil Nadu has reported 77 cases, Maharashtra 35, Karnataka 79. Telangana has reported 9 cases, Puducherry 20, Delhi has 4, Gujarat 12, Punjab 5, Goa 23. Madhya Pradesh and Jharkhand have reported 2 COVID cases each. The states with the lowest COVID cases currently are Jammu and Kashmir and Uttar Pradesh with 1 case each. Meanwhile, Kerala's Health Minister Veena George had earlier called a high-level meeting to address the COVID-19 surge, with over 85% of the cases in the country originating in this particular state. A recent mock drill assessed hospital preparedness, revealing available oxygen and ICU beds. The focus will be on areas like Kochi and Thiruvananthapuram that have experienced a spike in cases. The meeting emphasized the need for increased testing for symptomatic individuals, and despite 10 COVID-related deaths being reported this month, the minister has assured that ample medicines and equipment are available. After cyclone Mikchong hit Chennai nearby areas, now 4 southern districts, particularly Tirunelveli and Tuticorin, are grappling with heavy rain unleashed by a cyclonic circulation. The Tamil Nadu government, along with the armed forces, is undertaking rescue operations of stranded residents as the downpour wreaks havoc. The state has labelled the rainfall as unprecedented and enlisted the Indian Air Force choppers to airdrop relief material in Tirunelveli. Tuticorin's Kalpattinam saw a historic 95 centimeters of rainfall in just 24 hours, leading to overflowing rivers and water channels. Major reservoirs in the region are at capacity due to torrential rain in the catchment areas. Meanwhile, the Tamil Nadu governor, R.N. Ravi, chaired a review meeting with senior officials from central agencies and armed forces and focused on assessing the flood situation in the southern districts. The governor has directed the authorities to mobilize maximum resources for rescue and relief operations. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Stalin plans to visit Tuticorin from Delhi. He aims to evaluate ongoing rescue efforts and assess the damage caused by rains and floods in the southern districts of the state, including Tuticorin and Tirunelveli. Amid continuous tensions in Manipur, the burial of 87 bodies in the Churachandpur district, which was supposed to be held on the 20th of December, that's today, is now under a cloud and may get delayed. This comes after the enforcement of Section 144 in Churachandpur until the 18th of February next year because of reported incidents of sporadic violence in different parts of Churachandpur. This is as per an official order that has been released. These violent incidents have contributed to an overall tense atmosphere, and enforcement of Section 144, which might delay the burial of 87 bodies, has been announced by the convener of the joint philanthropic organizations. The Uttar Pradesh cabinet has sanctioned a series of relief measures, including a COVID-0 period to be extended to developers based on recommendations from an expert committee led by former Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant. The aim is to revitalize stalled real estate projects in the state. The committee, citing the Indian Banks Association, has identified 2.4 lakh stressed housing units, with the majority located in Noida and Greater Noida. The zero-period relief for realtors in substantial, wiping out nearly 4 years of interest and penalties on dues owed to the government for the allocated land. The Amitabh Kant committee has proposed 2 zero-period waivers, one for the COVID pandemic from March 2020 to March 2022 and another from August 2013 to June 2015 during the National Green Tribunal's construction work stoppage around the Okla Bird Sanctuary until the eco-sensitive zone was nullified. Builders are said to benefit from a 46-month zero period, erasing almost 4 years of interest and penalties. Registries can be unlocked through a rescheduling plan requiring partial payment upfront. Unfinished projects in need of funds will be under the oversight of RERA. The introduction of a co-developer policy allows companies to inject funds into projects and bring them to completion. Certain flat owners may witness the processing of their flat registries as they have already declared or rather cleared their dues with the builders. Meanwhile, other buyers might face some delays until completion of construction, allowing builders to resume projects with reduced financial burdens. For some, the resolution may hinge on court case outcomes, or resolution professionals involved in NCLT cases may need to identify new developers. Mamata Banerjee and Jaya Bachchan today reacted to the mimicking row in Parliament. Since yesterday, a video has gone viral where Trinamool MP Kalyan Banerjee can be seen mimicking Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar during an opposition protest at Parliament. Speaking exclusively to TV9 about the row, West Bengal Chief Minister and Trinamool Supremo Mamata Banerjee said Kalyan Banerjee has already addressed the issue. Meanwhile, Rajya Sabha MP Jaya Bachchan remarked, "You all remember Didi O Didi? Why question her? Direct your queries to Kalyan Banerjee.
दीदी आपको लगता है कि ये वाला मामला उपसभापति वाला ज्यादा हो रहा है? दीदी कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे उस पर? उपसभापति वाले मामले में
आपने बोल के दिया है, अब क्या हम बोले?
तो यू हैव टू, इनको बोला था ना दीदी, और दीदी किसको बोला था? हाँ, आप लोग इनसे सवाल पूछ रहे हैं।
तो दीदी आपको लग रहा है कि कल्याण दा ने जो किया वो ठीक किया?
All right, time for us to take a quick break here, but don't go anywhere. There's plenty more on the other side.
Bangalore traffic is an example of something that has gone wrong with our system.
We have more than 50 flyovers in Bengaluru city. If flyover is a solution to traffic problem, Bengaluru should not have traffic problem.
According to TomTom Traffic Index 2022, Bangalore is ranked as the second worst city in the world when it comes to traffic.
The speed limit at the ORR is 80 kilometers per hour, but our vehicle has only moved 10 kilometers per hour.
What Bangalore needs is a surgery, but what we have been offered repeatedly are band-aids.
Only on the world's first news OTT. News 9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
Yeah, you know. Welcome back. Let's now get to the latest on what's happening in Parliament. Some key bills are slated to be taken up for discussion in Parliament amid a record number of opposition MPs being suspended. The Lok Sabha is at present considering 3 important bills which seek to reform criminal laws in the country. The bills seek to repeal and replace the Indian Penal Code 1860, the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 and the Indian Evidence Act 1872. The bills were initially introduced by Home Minister Amit Shah during the monsoon session of Parliament and were referred to a Parliamentary Standing Committee. Now, the suspension of 141 opposition MPs accused of disrupting proceedings in both houses of Parliament has sparked a major debate about the state of parliamentary proceedings. The opposition, terming it a mockery of democracy, has accused the government of bulldozing through important legislations without a proper debate. The government, in response, has blamed the opposition for disrespecting the Speaker and Parliament itself. Even President Draupadi Murmu and Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar have expressed their concern over Kalyan Banerjee's mimicry, the video that went viral yesterday. The unprecedented move raises critical questions about the strength of democracy in India and whether the opposition is resorting to dramatic theatrics. As the suspension saga unfolds, the Lok Sabha managed to pass 3 bills on the same day. The Congress, now left with only 9 MPs in the Lok Sabha, has described this mass suspension as a complete purge.
Nearly 130 members of parliament have been suspended. And this is a mockery of the democracy. Protest was going on. It is a part of the protest. Mimicry is not unknown to anywhere. But I didn't have any intention at all to hurt or disrespect any person, including the Honorable Vice President. He also belongs to my profession. He is senior to me, as senior advocate also. He was our ex-governor also. There are on some issues, some difference of opinions were there. That's a different thing. But it was no intention at all to disrespect any person, any post. I never watched the Rajya Sabha proceeding, Rajya Sabha TV also. If it has been taken, the Honorable Vice President has taken on his shoulder. I didn't have any intention to hurt him at all. I have great respect to all constitutional posts. Mimicry is not a new thing. You have seen also earlier Our Honorable Prime Minister also done same thing in the House itself during the 2014 to 2019. So it's not an offence. It is not. Now they are trying to change the issue itself. Today's issue is whether these 133% member of parliament have been suspended correctly or not. Issue is it not a mockery of democracy? Issue is this.
Did you apologize to BP, sir?
Whatever I have said already. I did not want to hurt anyone's mind. I have great respect to everyone. I am having a respect also to the Honorable Vice President, Honorable President, each and every one, all the who are holding the constitutional post. There are some protests of the opposition would be there. Mimicry is not an offence at all. Mimicry is done. It is not an offence at all. If anyone is hurt, I did not have any intention to hurt anyone.
जो मिमिक्री यहाँ पर हो गई आउटसाइड, ये सबने देखा होगा, ये आपको भी मालूम। जो घटना सदन के बाहर हो गई, आउटसाइड द हाउस, तो उसके बारे में सदन में एक रेजोल्यूशन पास करना, कंडेम करना, ये कहाँ का है? और वो भी ठहरे पार्लियामेंट्री अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर ठहरते हैं और 100-150 राज्यसभा के मेंबर उनके पीछे ठहरते हैं, वहाँ स्टेटमेंट करते हैं। और हाउस के अंदर हमारे चेयरमैन साहब उनको भी परमिशन देते हैं, और हम सच्चाई बोलने के लिए हमको परमिशन नहीं मिल रहा है। अपमानित नहीं करना चाहते हैं, करने का हमारा इरादा भी नहीं, वो हमारे कैरेक्टर में भी नहीं है। लेकिन उन्होंने ये जो अपनाया है तरीका बीजेपी ने, और दूसरी बात, लोकसभा में जो हमारे नेता थे पार्टी के, हम जो घटनाएं घटी है यहाँ पर उस पर बोलना चाहते थे, लेकिन हमसे भी पहले चेयरमैन साहब ने अपनी बात रखने की कोशिश की, यहाँ तक कि उन्होंने कहा कि मेरा जो अपमान हुआ है वो मेरे जाति और मेरे किसानों का अपमान हुआ। अरे चेयरमैन दूसरों को प्रोटेक्शन देना चाहिए। अगर चेयरमैन साहब ही ऐसा बोले तो मैं एक अपोजिशन लीडर होके मैं ये कहूँ कि मुझे राज्यसभा में बोलने नहीं दिया क्योंकि मैं एक दलित लीडर हूँ। ऐसी जात पात की बात अंदर करके लोगों को बाहर भड़काने का काम कोई नहीं करना चाहिए।
Now, what we have seen in the country in the last few days is a travesty of parliamentary democracy. In fact, I did a bit of research. Never in the entire history of parliamentary democracy has any parliament in any country in the world ever suspended or expelled 150 people. That is the dubious record that has been set in our parliament this week. Everyone understands a basic principle of parliamentary democracy is the accountability of the Council of Ministers to the Parliament. When Parliament is in session, anything that happens, the government's duty is to come to Parliament and discuss it with them before going out. When the opposition called for a discussion on the security breach and requested that the Home Minister should come and speak to Parliament, as you all know, the Home Minister did not come. He was giving statements outside to the media, he was giving press interviews, but he was not prepared to speak inside Parliament. This is why the opposition protested. And I must say that the reaction has been completely disproportionate to the actual offence of protesting. The protest was for a very democratic parliamentary reason, which is to have the Home Minister come and initiate a discussion. The opposition had come to this winter session determined to cooperate fully in the functioning of Parliament. That's how the session began also. We wanted to participate in major debates on matters of national importance. But what we have seen, sadly, is the government has no interest in letting the opposition function responsibly in Parliament.
बातें पूरे परिप्रेक्ष्य में संदर्भ में कह दी। महत्वपूर्ण ये है कि हम चांद का टुकड़ा नहीं मांग रहे थे। हम गृह मंत्री जी जो हर सवाल पे तत्पर रहते हैं, बयान देने को आतुर रहते हैं, जो उनका डोमेन नहीं है उस पर भी बोलते हैं। हमने कहा गृह मंत्री जी आके दोनों सदनों में, क्योंकि ये संसद की इमारत की चूक नहीं है सर। संसद है क्या? संसद 800 वैसे लोगों की जगह है जो पूरे देश का प्रतिनिधित्व करते हैं, तो इसको राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा से जुड़ा मसला मानना चाहिए। हमें कोई ये ना समझाए कि लोकसभा स्पीकर पार्लियामेंट्री सिक्योरिटी के इंचार्ज होते हैं। हकीकत हम सबको मालूम है, लेकिन हमने बस इतना मांगा और आपने इस स्केल पे जो सस्पेंशन किया, शशि थरूर जी ने बिल्कुल कहा पूरी दुनिया में ऐसा नहीं होता। तो लोकतंत्र की माँ कहते हैं ना, मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी। अब तो माँ को बीमार कर दिया आपने। माँ बीमार चल रही है, इस बीमार माँ को तीमारदारी की जरूरत है। और हम जैसे सांसद जिनको आप सस्पेंड करते हैं, अगर प्रिजाइडिंग ऑफिसर्स के तौर तरीके हमको सुनने के काबिल नहीं है, हमारे पास क्या विकल्प है? क्या प्लेकार्ड पहली बार दिखाया गया इस देश में? सारी रूलिंग और ऑब्जर्वेशन देखिए आप, 52 से लेके अब तक क्या बना रहे हैं आप इसको। आपने मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी को कत्ल करने का की सुपारी ले ली और वो आप कर रहे हैं। आपको प्रतिरोध मुक्त सड़क चाहिए और विपक्ष मुक्त संसद चाहिए। आपको मुबारक हो मोदी जी, आप इस देश को सिंगल पार्टी मेजॉरिटेरियन रूल की तरफ ले जा रहे हैं और आप सोचते हैं आप ताली बजवाते रहेंगे। तालियां कब गालियों में तब्दील हो जाए शायद उन्हें पता है।
इस तरीके की मतलब जिनको हम कहते हैं पैरोकियल एटीट्यूड, ये अगर इतने बड़े पद पे बैठे हुए व्यक्ति की तरफ से आते हैं तो देश के लिए दुर्भाग्य की बात होते हैं। हमारे देश की महामहिम होते हैं राष्ट्रपति, उसके बाद उपराष्ट्रपति। सदन में जब आते हैं तो वो चेयरमैन बनते हैं। टीवी में रोजाना आप शाम को देखो, ये मिमिक हमारा एक आर्ट है, उसमें प्राइम मिनिस्टर से लेकर अपोजिशन सबको मिमिक होते हैं। और यहाँ किसी ने ये नहीं कहा कि भाई ये धनखड़ जी की ऊपर मिमिक हो रहे हैं। उनको क्यों खुद अपना रहे हैं, उनको किसी ने नहीं कहा, लेकिन लोग क्यों अपना रहे हैं। और देश की उच्च स्थान पर बैठे हुए व्यक्ति अगर जात पात की बात करे तो उनको शोभा देते हैं क्या? हमारे देश की प्रधानमंत्री कोई जात के नहीं, राष्ट्रपति कोई जात के नहीं होते हैं, उपराष्ट्रपति कोई जात के नहीं होते हैं। कल से हमें तो ये सीने पे ये लगा के घूमना पड़ेगा पोस्टर लगा कि मैं दलित हूं, मैं जाट हूं, मैं राजपूत हूं। चलेगा ये देश? कहा कभी ये कि मैं एक जाट के खिलाफ बोल रहे हैं? मिमिक होता है, जिसको जो समझना समझ लेते हैं। मिमिक तो मिमिक होता है, किसी को नाम पे तो नहीं कहा गया कि वहां किसी भाषण पे तो नहीं किया गया कि मैं मिमिक कर रहे हैं। क्यों बात बनाना चाहते हैं ये लोग? ये सिर्फ अपने जवाब से बचने के लिए, जब सरकार के ऊपर चारों तरफ से अब जवाब मांग रहे हैं, सदन की सुरक्षा से कि क्यों इतने बार छेड़छाड़ हुई है, तो वो जवाब देने से बचने के लिए इस तरीके के हवाला, इस तरीके की बहाना बनाते जा रहे हैं। कोई इसका संबंध नहीं, कोई सरोकार नहीं है सदन के अंदर की सुरक्षा के साथ। ये कल कोई मिमिक, कोई सरोकार नहीं है। असली बात से छुपाना चाहते हैं, असली बात से बचना चाहते हैं।
कल्याण बनर्जी ने भी कहा मेरा कोई मोटिव नहीं था,
नहीं कोई मोटिव नहीं, क्यों मोटिव रहेगा? दे मिमिक इज एन आर्ट ऑल्सो।
Congress Parliamentary Party Chairperson Sonia Gandhi, Party President Mallikarjun Kharge and Congress MP Rahul Gandhi participated in a demonstration today opposing the suspension of 141 opposition MPs from Parliament. They held banners that read "Save Democracy."
Other people can stand here itself.
सर आपके हाथ पीछे नहीं आए ना, सब खराब कर दो।
Democracy down, down. Democracy down, down. Other people can stand here itself.
सब आगे चले जाओ। सर आपके हाथ पीछे नहीं आए ना, सब खराब कर दो।
Democracy down, down. Democracy down, down.
Time for us to take a quick break here on the show. There's plenty more on the other side. Stay with us.
Currently, the industry is facing a lot of challenges as far as demand is concerned. Basically, the US markets has slowed down because of high inflation.
So obviously, diamonds being a dream product, something which doesn't have a utility value or is seen as a luxury. So that obviously goes off your shopping list. That's the first item that will go off your shopping list, especially in recessionary trends.
That lab-grown diamonds are not mined, and they do away with the entire mining. So they save up on all the environmental damage that is associated with mining, and of course, the mining cost, which is why they're even more affordable.
People that is impacted by all these recessions are the artisans, are the people who work in this industry, right? But I think lab-grown diamond has allowed them to actually use their skills in the same product.
This and more streaming on world's first news OTT, News 9+. Download now.
Bangalore traffic is an example of something that has gone wrong with our system.
We have more than 50 flyovers in Bengaluru city. If flyover is a solution to traffic problem, Bengaluru should not have traffic problem.
According to TomTom Traffic Index 2022, Bangalore is ranked as the second worst city in the world when it comes to traffic.
The speed limit at the ORR is 80 kilometers per hour, but our vehicle has only moved 10 kilometers per hour.
What Bangalore needs is a surgery, but what we have been offered repeatedly are band-aids.
Only on the world's first news OTT. News 9+, ahead of the curve.
ChatGPT. It can generate codes and human-like responses through text, write stories, and do a lot more.
I work in a newsroom with anchors, researchers and scriptwriters, graphic artists, producers, video editors, camera crew. But does a newsroom really need them today?
All of us have to think about unique and distinctive value addition that cannot be automated or repeated or replaced by a machine.
ChatGPT may kill many companies. A human has to be in the loop with an ability to control this.
Dark Side of the Boom. Streaming now.
Welcome back. Let's get you all the big international stories we're tracking. On Tuesday, the Colorado Supreme Court disqualified former President Donald Trump from the state's presidential election ballot in 2024 because of his involvement in the 6 January 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol by his supporters. This historic ruling under a rarely used provision of the U.S. Constitution marks Trump as the first presidential candidate deemed ineligible for the White House because of his engagement in insurrection or rebellion.
The attack on our nation's capital on January 6, 2021 was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies. Lies by the defendant targeted at obstructing a bedrock function of the U.S. government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election.
And we are here because Trump claims, after all that, he has the right to be president again. But our Constitution our shared charter of our nation says he cannot do so.
Trump's disqualification has been carried out under the American Constitution, Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, also referred to as the Insurrection Clause. This clause bars anyone from Congress, the military, and federal and state officers who once took an oath to uphold the Constitution but then engaged in insurrection or rebellion against it. Amid Trump's ouster, Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy has vowed to pull out from the Colorado ballot if the state Supreme Court does not let Donald Trump contest.
They have just tried to bar President Trump from the Colorado ballot using an unconstitutional maneuver that is a bastardization of the 14th Amendment to our U.S. Constitution. This was a provision, Section 3, that was designed to bar Confederate members, people who switched to the Confederacy, from actually being able to serve. That's very different than what's at issue here, to say the least. This is a hollowed out husk of what the country was built on. The basic principle that we, the people, select our leadership, not the unelected elite class in the back of palace halls. That's old world Europe, not the United States. That's why I'm making a pledge today that I will withdraw, I pledge to withdraw from the Colorado GOP primary ballot unless and until Trump's name is restored. And I demand that Ron DeSantis and Chris Christie and Nikki Haley do the same thing, or else these Republicans are simply complicit in this unconstitutional attack on the way we conduct our constitutional republic. I refuse to be complicit in that. I think what they're doing is wrong, and I think it's up to Republicans to step up and stand up with a spine for our country's future. That's really what's at stake, whether we, the people, actually have a say in deciding who leads this country. Yes, it would be easier for other Republicans like me who are running in this race to say, hey, if Trump is sidelined, there's our opportunity. No doubt other candidates are probably privately celebrating with their corporate sponsors. That's not the right thing to do. I think the most useful thing that every GOP candidate can do right now is to join me in that pledge. I'll say that I will withdraw from that Colorado GOP primary ballot until Trump's name is restored. This belongs to the people, not to the unelected Democratic cabal of judges in Colorado or any other state. And I demand that Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley and Chris Christie do the same thing, or else they're complicit in what this security state is trying to do to shut down Trump. I stand by that, and I expect them to do the right thing.
The force-free ruling is temporarily on hold until the 4th of January, awaiting a potential appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. With the legal battles clouding Trump's 2024 prospects after the Colorado Supreme Court blocked the ballot placement pending the U.S. Supreme Court appeals, the state ruling impacting the campaign demands resolution by the 5th of January for the GOP primary list. The federal judge has scheduled the matter for the 4th of March next year for election subversion trial, prompting Trump's criticism. The Georgia indictment also adds potential 4th 2024 trial, casting uncertainty on his political future. The prosecutor has sought another 2024 trial, raising questions about Trump's lead amid multiple legal woes. Russian President Vladimir Putin addressed senior defense officials, stating that Russia is enhancing its nuclear arsenal and maintaining peak readiness of its strategic forces. He cited the West's engagement in what he termed a hybrid war against Russia as the impetus for these actions. Putin affirmed Moscow's commitment to continue its special military operation in Ukraine, asserting that all endeavors to cause a strategic setback for Russia have failed.
Due to the changing character of military threats and as new military and political risks arise, the role of the nuclear triad has significantly increased. It ensures strategic balance of power in the world. Overall, the level of modern weaponry in the strategic nuclear forces has been brought up to 95%. When it comes to naval forces, it's almost at 100%. By the end of the year, 15 years and avant-garde missile complexes will be deployed for service. We need to continue maintaining combat readiness of the strategic forces at the highest level. All the approved goals in this area will be reached without a doubt.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said at a press conference in Kiev that he is confident the US will not betray his country by withholding crucial wartime funding. Here's the story.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said at a press conference in Kyiv on Tuesday that he was confident the U.S. would not betray his country by withholding crucial wartime funding as Ukraine fights off a Russian invasion that's nearing the 2-year mark and showing no signs of abating.
We are working very hard on this, and I am certain the United States of America will not betray us, and that on which we agreed in the United States will be fulfilled completely.
In the U.S., aid for Ukraine has been held up by Republicans in Congress, who say it must be paired with tougher immigration policies to bolster security at the U.S.-Mexico border. Senate leaders on Tuesday said a deal was not likely to come together soon. Here's Democratic Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
We've made important progress, but negotiations have not been easy, and it's going to take more time.
One senior Democrat in the Senate said any action would probably be postponed until January. The White House has warned that if not renewed, funding will run out by the end of December. Zelensky said financial assistance was key to Ukraine's defenses and that the nation didn't just need money but manpower. He said the military had requested as many as 500,000 citizens to be mobilized into the army, though a final decision had not yet been made.
Protesters set a train ablaze in Bangladesh, killing at least 4 people amid a countrywide strike called by the opposition to press for its demand for the government to resign ahead of the elections next month. Details of the number of passengers on the train from Netrokona heading to Dhaka were not immediately available. The police have reported that flames were spotted by passengers near the capital as the train approached its destination. The incident was the latest strike sparked by anti-government protests in which dozens of buses and vehicles have been set on fire, with at least 6 people killed since the 28th of October, when an opposition rally turned violent.
The following content may contain visuals that are disturbing, graphic, or sensitive in nature. Viewer discretion is advised. This material is intended for mature audiences and may not be suitable for all viewers. Please exercise caution while watching, and if you find such content distressing, we recommend discontinuing viewing. This disclaimer is provided to ensure awareness and to prioritize viewer well-being.
The war between Israel and Hamas has entered the 75th day. Let's get you all the details of the last 24 hours. The UN Security Council is expected to vote today on a bid to boost aid deliveries to Gaza. The Israeli military is advancing in southern Gaza. That's what IDF Chief Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari has said. Around 1,500 tunnel shafts and underground passages have been discovered in Gaza, according to the Israeli Defense Forces. The IDF denies responsibility for the death of 2 women at a Gaza church complex, something that was condemned even by Pope Francis. Prime Minister Netanyahu has reiterated his commitment to bring back the remaining Israeli hostages. The Israeli ground operation will expand to additional areas. That's what the Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has announced. The Al-Ahli Baptist Hospital in Gaza is now out of service. That's been stated by the Palestinian Health Ministry, according to whom more than 20,000 Palestinians have been killed in the ongoing war. On Tuesday, UN officials expressed anger and disbelief about the situation in Gaza hospitals, where injured individuals lack basic supplies and children recovering from amputations are being killed in the ongoing conflict. Most of Gaza's hospitals remain not operational due to damage from attacks, Israeli raids and a shortage of fuel and staff. The ones still open are under increasing pressure, facing strikes and a growing influx of sick and injured patients.
Truly, I'm furious. I'm furious that those with power shrug as the humanitarian nightmares unleashed on 1 million children. I'm furious that children who are recovering from amputations in hospitals are then killed in those hospitals. I'm furious that there are more children hiding as we speak somewhere who will no doubt be hit and have amputations in the coming days. I'm furious that of all the senseless attacks, the only admittance of dumb is the use of dumb bombs. I'm furious that disease is as well armed as the warring parties, but it gets absolutely no attention. I'm furious, as I said, that little boy of a friend I made is now worryingly sick and they have only hope and dirty water. Lisa, I'm furious that Christmas is likely going to bring increased savagery in attacks as the world is distracted with its own, love and goodwill. I'm furious that now we're at 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 children killed and they're becoming statistics and not stories. I'm furious that the, hypocrisy is crushing empathy. And to a degree, I'm furious at myself for not being able to do more.
The people in the hospitals, yes, they need everything. They need medical supplies, but what they ask for first is food and water. The very basics. They do not have them. One of my colleagues described people lying on the floor in severe pain, in agony, but they weren't asking for pain relief, they were asking for water. That it's beyond belief that the world is allowing this to continue. I can only concur with James. I haven't been there, but just what I'm seeing and hearing from my colleagues is something that it's unconscionable that the world allows this to continue.
U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has revealed that the U.S. was leading a multinational operation to safeguard commerce in the Red Sea as attacks by Iran-backed Yemeni Houthi militants have forced major shipping companies to reroute. Austin, who's on a trip to Bahrain, home to the U.S. Navy's headquarters in the Middle East, said Britain, Bahrain, Canada, France, Italy, Netherlands, Norway, Seychelles and Spain are among nations involved in the Red Sea security operation. The group will conduct joint patrols in the southern Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden.
The lifeblood of the rules-based international order is actually seawater. All countries have the right to move freely and lawfully in international waters. But that foundational global right is under new threat today from the totally unacceptable attacks on merchant vessels by the Houthis in Yemen. So this morning, we've launched Operation Prosperity Guardian under the umbrella of Combined Maritime Forces and under the leadership of Task Force 153. That operation is bringing together more than a dozen countries from around the world to conduct joint patrols in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden.
The ongoing global impact of Houthi attacks on a crucial sea route for oil and fuel shipments is escalating. Experts have warned that these attacks could elevate oil prices and insurance premiums, triggering inflation. Major oil and shipping companies are adjusting routes or halting trade, causing disruptions surpassing the Suez Canal crisis. This situation poses greater risks than the 2021 blockade. To evade attacks, ships may opt for a longer Cape of Good Hope route, extending journeys by 3,500 nautical miles in 10 days. Insurance costs are surging, soaring from 0.07% to 0.5% of a ship's value due to heightened risks in these zones. Volunteers in Khan Yunis in southern Gaza are working with children traumatized by Israeli bombardments and the ground offensive in the Palestinian enclave. Children residing in shelters have expressed living in fear with the sounds of drones and explosions keeping them awake at night. Dalia Elvia, a volunteer in psychology and entertainment, has said she's attempting to alleviate the children's negative feelings through play at the Janine School in Khan Yunis.
احنا حاليا في مدرسة جنين الثانوية للبنين، موجود فيها نازحين، موجود فيها عدد من النازحين من شمال قطاع غزة. حاليا بنعمل لهم احنا جلسات ترفيهية او ترفيه بمعنى اخص للاطفال، من العاب، من اناشيد، انهم يفرغوا من الطاقة السلبية اللي هم واجهوها في قطاع غزة من ازمات، من حرب قوية كانت عليهم، من العدوان اللي احنا فيه. فهذا الإشي بفرغ وبطلع النفسية أو الطاقات السلبية من الأطفال وحتى الأهالي كمان، لأنه الأهل لما تشوف أطفالها مبسوطين ومرتاحين ومبسوطين في هذه الأجواء بينبسطوا أكثر، حتى بتلاقي إنه الأهل بيشاركوا صاروا معنا وإنهم يوقفوا ويحضروا هذه الأجواء.
A magnitude 6.2 earthquake struck China's rural northwest on Tuesday, causing the collapse in construction of homes and buildings in the northern edge of the Qinghai Tibetan Plateau. State media reported at least 127 deaths, with footage showing structures reduced to rubble and mudslides covering roads and buildings. A village in northwest China was half buried in silt, and after the 6.2 magnitude earthquake triggered a landslide covering homes and trapping residents. Rescue efforts were hampered by the high altitude and cold weather, with the quake hitting Gansu province. On Monday, authorities have swiftly mobilized an array of emergency responses after the quake wrecked roads and infrastructure. The rescue work has proved challenging in sub-zero temperatures, with most of China grappling with below freezing conditions after a powerful cold wave swept across the country. Toshiba was delisted on Wednesday after 74 years on the Tokyo Stock Exchange, following a decade of upheaval and scandal that brought down one of Japan's biggest brands and ushered in a buyout and an uncertain future.
Years, but Wednesday saw Toshiba shares delisted following a buyout by investors. That came after a decade of upheaval and scandal that brought chaos to one of Japan's biggest brands. It's now owned by a group led by private equity firm Japan Industrial Partners. Other members include financial services firm Oryx and chipmaker Rome. The $14 billion takeover puts Toshiba back in Japanese hands after years of battles with overseas activist investors. That had paralyzed the giant conglomerate, which makes everything from batteries to robots and nuclear power stations. Now it's very unclear what shape the firm will take under its new owners. But analysts bet Chief Executive Taro Shimada, who is staying on, will focus on high-margin digital services. Toshiba is widely expected to start divesting some assets. It's also teamed up with Rome to invest billions in new chip production capabilities. One Toshiba watcher said the firm could have a bright future if it got rid of its low-margin units and freed up its engineers to innovate.
All right, that's all the time we have on this show. Thanks so much for watching. Do stay tuned to Newsline Live for the latest news updates from around the country and the world.